Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be discussing and talking about the best neighborhoods in New York City, part 2. First neighborhood is Soho, short for South of Houston Street. It's a super trendy and affluent neighborhood. The neighborhood has buildings that date back to the 19th century. Some of the most notable architectural features include cast iron buildings, which were popular in the 1800s and are now defining features of Soho. The neighborhood's very cool, a bit expensive, and a little bit touristy, but if your neighborhood has that over there, the I Heart New York, just know your rent prices are gonna be high. If it has tourist stuff, just know your rent prices are gonna be abnormally high. A perfect neighborhood to move to New York City if you're in your early 20s, you know, mid-30s too. The next neighborhood is Chinatown. Chinatown has one of the largest communities in America with a population of over 100,000 residents. The history of Chinatown dates back to the 19th century when Chinese immigrants started to settle in the area. Today, Chinatown is known for its bustling neighborhood, vibrant culture, delicious food, unique shopping experiences, and the neighborhood is filled with an array of restaurants, cafes, bars, clubs. An amazing neighborhood, and honestly the rent prices in Chinatown are relatively cheap in comparison with other apartments in Lower Manhattan. Okay, so basically I want to say the pros and cons of living in Chinatown are, we're going to start with the pros. The pros are definitely train system, very accessible. You're in Lower Manhattan, so you're literally, me personally, you're in the hottest part of New York City. You can literally get to Lower East Side walking distance. You can walk to Soho, you can walk to the East Village, and you can also walk to Washington Square Park. Lower Manhattan is your oyster when you're in Chinatown. The cons, I want to say the cons are, you know, there's too much traffic, too much people. You're not gonna sleep well. There's so much noise, there's so much craziness. You know, if you think Harlem is crazy, Chinatown is even crazier, you know what I mean? But there's endless food, a lot of culture. You know, it's Asian culture, it's majority Asian culture. I'm gonna give Chinatown a solid, I'm gonna give Chinatown an 8 out of 10. Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Williamsburg is a great neighborhood, one of my favorite neighborhoods in New York City. Depending on where in Williamsburg you stay, like 2-3 stops away from Lower Manhattan, you take the J or the M from like Marcy Avenue, 3 stops you into Delancey and Essex. Like, great neighborhood, tons of bars, restaurants, clubs, young people, old people. Williamsburg is a vibe, definitely. You'd think because it is in Brooklyn that it would be cheaper in comparison to Manhattan, but that is not the case at all.
Brooklyn's median July rent hit $3,400, a 3% jump from June. And Northwest Queens saw a 4.8% increase. The median rent now at $3,146.
And that's $3,400 for a 1-bedroom to have a white fridge, and for your roommates to be rats. Thank you. A lot of Brooklyn natives actually tell me that Williamsburg used to be much cheaper than what it is right now. Regardless of the price, if I'm just looking at the neighborhood for itself, Williamsburg, Brooklyn is 100% giving. I'm giving Williamsburg, Brooklyn an 8 out of 10. A good 8 out of 10 for Williamsburg. I think it's cool. I like how convenient it can be. I love that you can just be in Lower Manhattan in a second. I love that. I really love that for Williamsburg, Brooklyn. So we're gonna give Williamsburg, Brooklyn a solid 8 out of 10, guys. The next neighborhood that you probably wouldn't even guess is Midtown Manhattan. Yes, obviously you guys can tell that I do love Manhattan, but Midtown Manhattan is not the best place to stay. Not only do people literally live in boxes in Midtown Manhattan, it's just very noisy. If you think Harlem is noisy, staying in the center of Manhattan, it's unbearable.
Actually, if noise gives you anxiety, you know where I wouldn't move? Hell's Kitchen.
Tall skyscrapers everywhere, barely any greenery. It's just not the best place. Tourists on every corner. Midtown Manhattan is a difficult neighborhood to live in. I believe that you should live in Midtown Manhattan if you work around the neighborhood. If you're just visiting New York for a week and you want to get a sense of what New York City is like, the hustle and bustle, definitely a great spot to stay. But if you're living in New York City and you just want to chill, like if you're in your mid-20s, early 20s, living in New York City, you don't want to stay in Midtown Manhattan, you know what I mean? Even the bars and clubs in Midtown Manhattan are not as good in comparison to the bars and clubs in Lower Manhattan and Williamsburg. So out of 10, I'm definitely going to say a 6 out of 10. Midtown Manhattan, no.